for the team, but a buff for yourself. I don't know. Anyway, so I got it as the first item, and it still makes Mundo pretty tough and hard to kill early on, and then it gives your team that great team buff. And I think it's a good item to go first. And when there's two tanks, I definitely go Aegis first. In a situation like this where I'm the only one, maybe I should have gone something like a Warmog's Armor first. But what it does, the Warmogs makes Mundo unkillable. Something like an Aegis makes Mundo a much greater threat. With the Warmogs, you can sort of the correct solution to Mundo is ignoring him. Don't waste any energy trying to kill him, and frankly, he's just not doing that much in a fight, so you can ignore him. With an Aegis, I suppose he's a little bit more killable, but he's contributing a lot more to the fight just by being around, and so it becomes a much more difficult decision for the enemy team about who to focus. Now, if you're playing with sort of, newbie people who are just going to focus the first person they see every single time, then going with the Warmogs is great, because it just guarantees that they're going to waste all their actions every time. Oh, Ezreal just used his ult. I think it's very cool looking. And it's actually pretty good when used correctly. You can get some of those long distance kills, you can weaken a lane to set up, a gank or a tower dive. Nasus here withered me and then tried to get some beats, but I was able to get away. I did pop my, hold on, I can't remember the name of his W ability. I gotta look it up. I'm so bad at this. Oh, I think Nasus may go down here. Can I get one more hit in? Oh, please. Cleaver. Oh, Cleaver goes right between them. See, I told you, I'm bad at this game. Dr. Mundo, his second ability is called Burning Agony. That's when you turn it on and it eats your health away continuously. But it gives you an AoE effect around you. That deals damage just sort of in an effect around you, but also reduces the duration of crowd control effects. It's really, really quite cool. Now, my build for him is I max out the daggers, I grab 1 rank of Masochism, 1 rank of Burning Agony, usually on the 3rd level. Or no, not quite. I'm focusing on maxing out my Cleaver, then Masochism 2nd, and I try to get 1 rank of Burning Agony relatively quickly, but I still focus on the others. And early on, the health cost is fairly noticeable, and the farming is not quite as necessary, and the CC reduction is not quite as necessary, I feel. So I don't really focus on it too heavily. And I don't find that multiple ranks of it really pay off very well until later on in the game. Especially since the health costs scale up quite a bit, and early on you just don't have much health. It starts off at 20 health per second, and by the time you get to rank 5, it's 50 health per second. Which, Mundo does walk around with a lot of health, especially if you get the items for it, but it does add up. So use it sparingly. But it's so good at helping you shrug off CC, especially if if it's a CC heavy team and you've got Merc threads and that, then you're going to be just hard to lock down. At a certain point, they're just going to stop bothering, which is perfectly fine by me. So again, my laning partner has gone off to buy some items, and if memory serves, he doesn't return to me. Yeah, I believe he's going to go and help out some of the other lanes, try to get some ganks, and leave me solo here for a bit, but that's fine. I am going to be pushed back somewhat. Our Twisted Fate dies again, that sucks. Their Ezreal is clearly doing well. Ezreal's a good hero, and I'm going to really have to get in some play with him at some point. Fortunately, he's very expensive. So yeah, it looks like my laning enemies may have gone back to buy... Oh, their Nasus disconnected, but it was temporary. He comes back in just a few seconds here. So, yeah, I'm not able to hold a lane solo as Mundo totally well. And I can be forced back to the turret, especially in a 2-on-1 situation. Excuse me. But once there, I can defend the turret pretty well. With the Burning Agony, with the Cleavers, with the Masochism. Masochism's pretty good at killing minions. Really helps you get last hits, that's for sure. It's a really good choice. That's why I focus on it second rather than the Burning Agony. Yeah, there's the Nasus is back. I'm going to be able to take a good chunk out of this tower. We've lost our Sivir as well. So while our bottom lane is going really well, the other lanes are maybe having a little bit of difficulty. I mean, I think it's been a lot of back and forth. I'm not going to say that they're certainly not feeding. They're not giving too much up, but it hasn't been a pushover. But I'm going to try to finish this tower. I think I'm going to just ignore Nasus, just beat on the tower directly. He does wither me. Oh, and he pops his ult, so I decide, yeah, alright, I don't want to fight him by the tower. I throw a cleaver. I'm trying to wear off his ultimate somewhat to make sure my wither goes away. Take a couple of pot shots at him. I'm low and my ultimate's down. I'll talk about my ultimate in a moment. Use my cleaver to get a last hit there. His ultimate's worn out, but I'm just too low. I can't stand up fight, I think. Cleaver's doing a lot of damage. That minion was at 2/3 health, I think, and I just killed it with the cleaver. Pop my masochism. I'm at low health, so it's doing tons of extra damage. I like Mundo headbutts. Oh. Almost got the Cho'Gath there as well. You can see my Ezreal is there to help. Well, not my Ezreal, but my laning partner. I was thinking about going middle, but there's just all the action was done by the time I would have gotten there. I'm going to try to cut off their Nasus. And we do a little bit of a ring around the rosy here around his minions. He do hit him with the cleaver, slow him down, but he withers me. Now, I do have him in Burning Agony, which decreases the duration of wither. Wither's a pretty long CC, so it definitely stops him from catching up to him. In fact, while he really didn't do that much damage to me directly, all my abilities added up so that I actually came out lower in percentage health from that encounter. But I do have quite a lot more maximum health, so we're pretty close together. I think I'm higher level too. Yeah, I'm a couple levels higher because I've been left to solo for a while. I got the extra kills. I didn't die. So I've got the advantage on him, and in a straight up fight I would win. So Mundo, he has 2 ways to regenerate his health. He's got his passive, which doesn't do much, but it's a percentage of his maximum health every second. Excuse me. So the more health he's got, the faster he regenerates from his passive. Furthermore, his ultimate is really interesting. When you use it, it eats 20% of your health right away. But it will, over time, over a few seconds, regenerate 50% of your max. So if you use it when you're low, the cost is fairly minimal, and it'll mostly fill you up when you do it. So I just used it there right before a hearth, or not a hearth, but before I recalled back to the base. So it didn't really benefit me there, but I think I was just playing it safe. The cooldown is relatively short. There's no point in saving the item for, you know, a fight, especially early on. You know, if you get to half health, just pop your ultimate. It'll prevent you from getting ganked. It'll enable you to just keep using your abilities, keep farming. It's definitely the way to go. Later on, obviously, you may want to time it for a big team fight or something of that effect. So it's back to a 2-on-1 situation. I did finish my Aegis. I finished my Ninja Tabby, because I think I looked at their team and decided they didn't necessarily have that much CC, but more importantly, they were mostly or exclusively physical damage. They've got an Ezreal, but that's about it, and I don't remember. Their Ezreal may have gone an attack damage build in this fight. So I decided the Ninja Tabbies are the best ones to keep me alive. I don't have to worry about the CC reduction too much, especially at Burning Agony, so I ignore the Mercury's Treads. Wasn't there something else I was going to talk about? Oh yes, the next item I decided to build. Because we were dominating this lane pretty well, I decided, okay, I don't need to build another Warmogs right away. So what I'm trying to build is a Spirit Visage, which is kind of an interesting item. It's a little bit questionable most of the time, I would say. The Spirit Visage gives you a little bit of magic resistance and some health regen per 5. But I'm not really concerned about the regen too much. It'll certainly help, but you know, I feel that Mundo's got enough of it built in. That's not really why I'm building Spirit Visage. But it also reduces ability cooldowns by 12%, which is awesome, because you know, I don't really have a mana management issue. I can pretty much just use things whenever the cooldown is up. So that certainly is quite nice. Plus, it increases healing and regeneration by, well, at the time I made this video, it was 30%. They just nerfed it down to